have to stop pointing fingers and start locking arms. It is time to turn the page on the drama and the conflict, the fear and division.
Just a short time ago, Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris spoke to supporters in Washington, D.C. She held her rally at the same spot where Donald Trump supporters gathered on January 6th, 2021, shortly before storming the Capitol building.
I'd like to begin with a very, very simple question. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? I don't think so.
Meanwhile, Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump is in Allentown, Pennsylvania tonight. Pennsylvania is a key swing state that favored the Democrats last election. It's also home to a large Latino population. And so Trump has spent the day downplaying the latest controversy when it comes to his campaign. Earlier this week, a rally at Madison Square Garden in New York was overshadowed by a joke about Puerto Rico that has received significant backlash. For more on all of it, I'd like to bring in Larry Sabato. He is the founder and director of the Center for Politics at the University of Virginia, and he joins me tonight from Charlottesville, Virginia. Thanks for being here, Larry. Appreciate it.
Delighted to be with you.
What did you make of Harris's last major event before Election Day?
It was a home run. Since the World Series is being fought out, I think it was a home run. Either team would have liked it. She covered everything that she could cover in a speech of that length. She gave an agenda that was very middle-class specific, had a lot of appeal to many of the groups that she's trying to shore up. And she also, as she should, made a contrast with Donald Trump. And there's lots to contrast. She went after him for a number of things, and particularly the fact that she was there on the Mall. And when Donald Trump was on the Mall, we remember him particularly on January 6, 2021, when he led essentially an insurrection, the first attempt to stymie the peaceful transfer of power in U.S. history.
Do you think January 6th is factoring into American voters' minds? Because there is this, what seems to be, a very, very small margin of people that are undecided still. And then you're either in, Kamala Harris's camp or Donald Trump's camp.
Well, let's remember, polls are not votes. So we'll wait for the votes. And they're coming, beginning Tuesday. Who knows how long this will last. But I don't think that that's true. I think that probably many of the people who may in the end respond to their partisan identification and vote for Donald Trump are by no means supportive of what he did. And Democrats obviously are unanimously opposed to what he did.
So do you think if they think that he will be better on the economy, they are looking past what's happened on January 6th? They're looking past the court cases and some of the rhetoric, including some of which we heard, not directly from him, but from a comedian that was at his rally on stage at that podium that he would later be at. Or do you think that they're just ignoring that, holding their nose and saying, okay, I like his policies and so I'm going to vote for him?
Well, apparently, I don't think they necessarily like his policies. They don't remember what happened during his 4-year administration.
How's that possible?
Pandemic. Other than the pandemic. They remember the pandemic. How is it possible? I would say because most people today are distracted and have very short memories, or at least the people who are in the camp that backs Trump, the Make America Great Again camp, MAGA. They believe pretty much anything he says. So if he says he was innocent, then of course he's innocent, even of all those felony charges that are still awaiting him.
So what is an effective strategy here for both him and also for Kamala Harris in these final days before next Tuesday?
Clearly, Donald Trump is hoping that he will maximize his support among men of all races. He's doing very well with non-college white men, but he's doing better than most Republicans do with Latino men and with black men, though it's a small percentage. It's not like he's winning a large majority of the minority men. That's his goal. His goal is to focus on the price of eggs, I suppose, And for many Americans, that apparently is more important than the potential of overthrowing the government or running an authoritarian regime, which he has been accused of plotting, not just back in his first term, but very recently by senior military men who worked with him in his first term.
I'm up against the clock here, and I just want to ask you very quickly, though. You mentioned polls. We were talking about polls earlier. Back in 2016, I think it was, the polls were very wrong. Do you think that that could happen again? How do you see this playing out with the polling right now?
Oh, it could easily happen again. I mean, it happens all the time, not just in presidential races. There are a lot of problems with modern polling. They're doing their best, the pollsters that is, to correct the problems. They're making some progress, but it takes time. So yes, I'm concerned about it, but I'm concerned about loads of things like violence. That's the worst fear.
And what do you think your best bet is going to happen next Tuesday?
We're going to announce our predictions on Monday. So I know you'll be tuning in.
We will be indeed. Okay, Larry, appreciate it. As always, we will chat again before next Tuesday.